Hey, homesteading and gardening friends. I wanted to talk just a minute today about a couple of ways that I have learned my preferred ways to label plants and label trees and things like that. The first thing is these really cool garden markers you can get on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, and I usually write on these with a wax marker, but since we've just moved, I can't find it. So they have these little labels that just slide onto the stands. They're all metal and they will last a really long time. So you can put them out in the garden for marking seeds and rows, different kinds of plants that you've got out in the garden. They're really good for marking those. These three all happen to be carrots. The other thing I wanted to briefly show today was something I discovered since we moved to our new homestead. I'm interested in better understanding the permaculture and the environment that we live in here on our 16 acres. And to do that, one of the things I wanted to do was to be able to identify the trees, the species of trees, and begin to learn more about their uses. So to help me memorize those, we found online these embossing tags, little metal tags. They've got 2 holes in them. And they're really cool because you can take one of the little pieces of wire and put it through the holes on here. And if you have a tree, for example, you can use a small wood screw, put that on the tree, and then tie this tag onto it. The way you can write on these is 2 ways. It's very easy to use a pen and simply mash and write in. This is really soft metal. If you've got neat enough handwriting, you can simply write on these by pressing or indenting it with a pen. It worked really well. The other thing I found was, actually my wife found, are these embossing what are they called? These are embossing punches. They work very well. So the set we have here is all capital letters. What I did find when we were embossing trees, though, is that in this particular set, the F is upside down. So you have to look at these when you're using them to emboss, and the letter, whatever the letter is, they're engraved on here. The letter should be facing you, and you have to do it a letter at a time. It takes a little bit more time to do the embossing, but if your handwriting is not great, that is an option. So I'm going to take you outside just a second and show you a couple of the trees that I have tagged using these. Oh, I did forget to mention small hammer to use with the punches, something small. You don't have to hit it hard, really just a couple taps, and it embosses these very easily. So great way to mark your trees. It's great for foraging. If you're new to foraging and beginning to learn what the plants are and how they can be used, then these kind of labels out in your woods or your forest or around your house even can help you remember what they are. When you write something or use the embossing tool, it helps you, if you write something, to remember it better. And then if you're doing any teaching and you want to show these to students, in particular trees or plants in your woods, these would be great ways to do that. So hope you find that helpful. I'm going to take you outside and show you one that I put on one of our trees. So here's one of the labels I put on a tree right here in front of our home. This one is labeled post oak, and this one was done with the embossing tool. You can see that it did a very neat job of that. So I used an app on our phone to identify the species of tree, the species of oak, and was pretty easily able to label these. So that's one. So here is a tree that I put a tag on. This is eastern red cedar. So that's a good sized cedar tree. It's a beautiful tree. But that is how we use the label. So I will always remember this is an eastern red cedar. So out here in our front pasture with our chickens, we have a beautiful tree here. This is a Texas live oak. Very nice tree, but very effective in using those labels to identify what things are. Happy chickens, but it is hot out here, so they are all staying inside. Then our beautiful pine tree. We've got lots of these guys here. But this pine tree, when I identified the species on this one, this is called a short-leaf pine. So you can see I put the screws in these, just wrap the little metal tag around, and that should stay there for many years. Great way to identify these trees and help us remember them and what kinds they all are. So those little tags work pretty well for labeling plants you find out in your woods as well. This particular tree or plant or bush right here is Yaupon holly. So it will even work on some of the shrubs and plants around here. If you don't want to put ground markers like the other ones I showed you, these tags will work really well on those too. I hope you found this helpful. New ways, if you haven't heard of these before, the embossing tools for labeling the trees like the ones I just went out and showed you guys, and plant labels, these metal ones that you can write on with a wax marker. So hope you'll like our video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Now where did I put those wax markers?